There you go. This is a land use committee meeting on June 10th, 2025, and my name is Ann Mazar. I'm the chair of the committee. Why don't we go around?
Sure, and then just say the meeting's being recorded after you started the recording. So you said it before you started recording it, but yeah,
being recorded.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm Elena Brugos, select board member of the committee.
Barry Aderola, planning board.
Frank Nero, land use member.
And we have Jason Cooter on, who's going to talk to us about a Scout Jamboree in the fall of 2026. So Jason, why don't you take it over?
All right. So I've been talking to a lot of you. I'm just pulling up an image right now to share. Over the course of the last kind of few months, and I got limited bandwidth, so I'm just turn my video off while I share this. So
Looks like, is that an upgrade to the picture?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this is the upgrade to my hand-drawn one. The hand-drawn one, I'll show that in just a bit. So the gray road here in the middle is Inman Road, and this is Inman Hill. This is sort of a graphical representation. What we're looking to do is we formed like a Friends of Scouting committee called the 1926 Committee. That was the year that Troop 1 was founded in Mendon. And we're looking to celebrate that 100 years with a big camporee. And we're looking to do that hopefully on Inman Hill. It offers the most open space and adjacency to hiking lands and the ability to easily improve with volunteers and accessibility. There's just like lots of good things going on Inman Hill, which I'm sure you're all aware of as the land use committee. And so we were looking to do this in November 2026. And so this is the hand-drawn one. And so you can see this is the highway building kind of like right here in the center. And over to the right where it says admin, that would be the what's normally the parking field with the kiosk and the picnic tables. And so we have brought public safety through here. We've brought members of land use. We've brought fire, highway, all sorts of different folks. And Anne has introduced me to some new folks to talk to when I get back. And so what I want to talk to you all about is, your thoughts on what it would be like to for the town and for the land to have a camporee up there and to have volunteers improving that space. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is your long-term vision of that space. And we're not talking about encroaching onto the conservation land. We are talking just up in the field space. For longer term kind of recreational use, like what we're looking for, we're looking for a place to hold this camporee. That's the primary reason I'm going around and talking to everybody. But this is Scouts, and in Scouts, cheerful service is a pretty core mission for us. And so if we're going to go do all this work to bring all of these Scouts together into one place, it would be really great if we could leave a lasting legacy on that space. So I've talked to Anne about doing things like, doing more signage, having the scouting troops and the volunteers take care of building and posting signage, wood signage around trails, for example, trail intersection signage, clearing the brush from fields that used to be open fields that are now grown over, and organizing campsite creation with the Highway and Parks Department to ensure that we can kind of maintain those sites going forward. So those are all the kind of thoughts that I'm having and that other people on the committee are having. And so that's kind of my 5-minute overview. So I'd like to open it up, chat with you guys. What do you think? Anne's been up there. Land has been up there. What are your thoughts?
I just want to make one comment. Peter Coppin's on. Hi, Peter. And also Peter Hawks was on that walk, so he knows everything that's
Yes.
going on. It is, in agreement and, thinks it's fine.
And I think, I don't know, did you mention Isabella also, the conservation agent? So she's also
I
been,
did miss her.
what's that?
I did miss her. Yes,
Okay, well, you said a lot of names, so I wasn't sure if I missed it, but it's important to mention that she's been involved as well, because she's very familiar with that land and the conservation areas, and, also is interested in, preserving the land. But I think it sounds like she is also, she's supportive of this endeavor, so I think that's useful information.
Yeah, and then just one other piece of information, there's this one field when you're at the kiosk and then you go down the hill to the left where all these invasive plants have grown in. And that's an area that Jason's thinking might be good for camping. And it would be really helpful to have them clear out all the invasives, and that might be one of their projects. And then maybe after this event, then it could be a camping spot for people. So that's what they talked about, but do you have questions or comments?
No, I don't know all the details. Generally, I'm not in favor of a camping site, especially next to the woods and so forth. So, I probably need more detail to expound on that, but generally I'm in favor of keeping the land generally the way it is. I don't like fire pits, I don't like campsites that are on town-owned land for a number of reasons that we've talked about before. So
I think I might have been before my time, because, sorry, when you talked about that, so I feel like I haven't been in on those
I haven't either.
discussions. Oh, okay,
I
so,
haven't
but I
either.
mean, but why you said you don't like the campsites on town-owned land for a number of reasons, and I guess that's new to me, so
Do we have any campsites on town-owned land right now?
I'm not aware,
No.
I don't even know.
Yeah, and that's
I
why,
guess that's my point.
Right.
yeah, I mean, it would take, parks would have to, be involved with organizing it somehow, like with the Boy Scouts, if something was done, but, it's a nice way to get people outside to appreciate the open space and, want to preserve it,
Right.
take care of it.
So are your concerns more like long-term use of the land versus for this event?
Both.
Both, okay, both.
I'm gonna need more detail. I haven't been to the last couple of meetings, so.
The one thing just to clarify, this event is only, 2 days, Jason? It's like maybe Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, so
I
it's,
think-
Talking to mute. Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the first weekend in November of 2026 after the fields have been hayed.
yeah.
Does it have to be in November?
Well, so we chose that, no, it doesn't have to be in November, but we chose that date specifically to target post-fall sports, pre-winter sports, post-hay, post-shotgun, pre-shotgun. So there's like a couple of reasons why we chose that period. It's usually a stable weather period as well. So it's one that hits a lot of buttons. We would either have to do it deeper into winter or earlier in spring, which is a little bit more unpredictable to avoid the hay. So that's why we picked that time frame.
So my concern is getting back to where we were when they decided to do the trail for the Trail Riders Association was going through the brownfield. You're in the peak of rut in November that weekend. And now you're talking about making campsites on another field and taking out habitat that deer use for tending and breeding. And, this is supposed to be a wildlife sanctuary. And now we're talking about developing it for camping.
So we're not talking about using the wildlife sanctuary space. We're only talking about you're talking about the fields or wildlife sanctuary space? The ones that we hay?
Brownfields are tending areas for deer rut.
When you say brownfield, do you mean the fields that are like cut
We're
in
talking
the
about turning into a campsite.
That's
the lower brownfield. The upper brownfield was where the trail riders blew right through the middle of it.
I think they might be referring to the one next to the parking space.
That's the one I saw on that
Jason,
map.
could you bring the map up again, please? Maybe the hand-drawn one, just because it might be clearer.
We're talking about this field right here, which is the one that has the kiosk in it and leads to the trails. This field right here that has the dandelions in it, and this field over here for parking. And then this field right here for program. Nothing kind of this direction that my mouse is heading out towards the upper left-hand corner. Everything in this circular area right here. Let me bring up the other map. This is kind of the overlay. And then this is the annotation.
So it's the field in the lower right that I think.
The one
Yeah.
that was camping.
Right.
Is that the one you're
That's-
concerned about?
That's all
there?
overgrown.
Yeah, but it is overgrown with a lot of like multiflora roads.
And we blew,
it's
the blue line is the Trail Riders Association, right?
no, that's,
That's, I
That's-
thought, yeah, that was up in the, along that. The
That's
line to the
that's
left.
where the big pussy willow tree is.
well, I think it's farther down, actually. I think you kind of go through the woods and then get down farther, you know?
Not from my memory.
So I thought,
You're
I
coming
thought
out
it
of,
went
you're
along
coming out
that.
of the parking area where they park the trailers for the horses. And then you're coming down into that brown field and going through there, and then it comes out to the other field and comes back around.
I think the fields that we go around are more to the left.
Yeah, I
You know, you
thought
kind of
up
cut through
to
the
the-
woods and then come around.
Above,
Yeah, I haven't.
above that image.
This space right here is cut out as a open green park space by the parks department. They go through, cut this trail through here, and right here is where you would go down into the conservation land. This is the ridge. This is all
Yeah.
grown in field, filled with all the invasives. This is where we are planning on cutting out the invasives to put in campsites. It looks, and I've been told it's overgrown field. Now, there's nothing preventing us from not using that space. We could have put all the campsites into the middle of an open field. We could do that as well. It's just this is rustic, and we thought we would offer the opportunity to cut out all the stuff that doesn't belong. And if you have a recommendation for another time frame that doesn't impact species, we'd be open to hearing it.
September before the archery season starts.
September. And when is the field hay?
I'm not
It's usually
sure.
done by the 3rd week of September, 4th week of September is what he said. So like if we did
Archery
it in,
starts in October.
what starts in October?
Archery season?
Yes, we've talked about that with public safety. We could put a ban on hunting on that property for 3 days.
That's what I want.
Yeah, I don't think that's what
That's exactly what I
Mary's
want.
concerned about.
Let's take the vote now.
Unbelievable. A ban on hunting.
Just for that weekend.
Oh, my God.
So Jason, you just meant the 2 days. So you're talking about a Friday and a Saturday night? Is that,
Friday, Saturday night, Sunday morning.
and when, like, yeah. So what are the dates of archery? When does archery
They
season
start just around Columbus Day,
Okay.
and they run through Thanksgiving weekend.
I mean, so would,
And the shutdown hunting on a Saturday, I mean, there's only so many Saturdays to hunt. You can't hunt on Sundays.
right. I mean, so
People work during the week, especially myself now.
is end of September, like,
That's my.
Yeah, October 3rd,
That's what
4th,
you would
and 5th,
recommend
is what we're
if-
saying. October 3rd, 4th, and 5th would be the first weekend in October. That would be before.
October 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Oh, sorry, that's the wrong year. Oh, hold on a second.
Yeah, I just wouldn't want to see anything permanent at Brownfield. I mean, to take and cut that down, you're eliminating breeding habitat that's they use. Just like I said, I was concerned about cutting a trail through the upper Brownfield on the edge of the woods.
Mhm. Yeah,
Those-
it just,
Bucks tend to take the does there and tend them.
So we're right, we're talking 26.
it was
I don't have my
September.
phone or calendar in front of me.
Right, so it looks like the first weekend of October 2026 is Friday the 2nd and Saturday the 3rd. Is that what you're seeing, Jason?
Yep.
Right here. So, I mean, I guess, so one constraint would be when the haying is done, and it sounds like that's usually done in September.
So anytime after the hand.
So, yeah, so, I mean, I think, and it sounds like, Peter Hawk is supportive of this, so
He
he
is
might be
supportive.
flexible about making sure that the haying gets done.
Yeah, the only thing is
It's
the
in time.
timing on that is led a lot with weather, how much
Right.
it's grown, what the season's like, but I think that he might be done, but we'd have to check with Peter. Would that timing work for you?
Yeah, I think it would be fine. I want to separate the I will not do from here is the accommodation I would like you to make. So if you could help me with all those things, we're going to hold this someplace in town, and this is really the perfect property for the event. It really brings in a lot of different scenarios for the community from a historical perspective and from an ecological one. We can accommodate all of those requirements. We just need to know what they are and not be surprised by them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good location too, you know, in terms of the open fields, I mean, otherwise you're on Route 16, which isn't very rustic or outdoorsy. Whereas it's a nice location and everything else is really pretty wooded.
So, Barry, would you feel more comfortable with the campsites being in the fields that are already
Yes.
cleared? So just, your concern is clearing additional,
Right.
like, overgrowth or
Yeah,
whatever.
changing habitat
Mhm.
from natural state to permanent campsites. I mean, that's,
I mean, the one thing though about the natural state is it's a lot of invasive plants, which I would love to take out so that the native plants would grow in. You know what I mean? So it's
I
not.
don't think the deer are worried about native invasive plants. They're
Right,
just
well, but a lot
living
of,
with what the conditions are.
yeah, but I mean, a lot of animals do need the native plants and, you know, the birds and whatnot, so.
We're still happy to clear out invasive species, even if we don't use that space as a campsite, just to throw that out there.
My concern is changing the whole habitat to what they're used to doing.
Yeah,
And disturbing them and getting them, they're gonna end up going someplace else, and they're gonna end up being moved out of an area that's supposed to be natural for them. And I don't think we should be doing that.
well,
I mean, as far as the state outlook on it, the state feels that when they buy land, that it shouldn't be used for other purposes, it should be left in a natural state.
right,
It
but they
should be
also,
developed for trails, it shouldn't be developed for recreation. It should be left in a natural state and left for hunting and fishing and,
but they do agree about removing invasives because it is a problem, I know that.
okay.
But this
So-
property
So what does
also-
that entail as far as, does that entail rototilling the field and bringing
No,
it back?
just cutting down multifloras and, you know, like making a
So
pile of it or something like that.
specific plants, like
Yeah, yeah.
identify,
Right,
so not like clear cutting,
no,
but identifying specific plants. I mean, I don't know if there's like
How
bittersweet.
do we know that they're not feeding on that?
I think that deer probably feed on a lot of things, I mean, you
Yeah,
know, I mean,
they're
there's a
gonna eat
lot of
whatever's
shrubs
available.
and, right, there's a lot of shrubs and trees in that area though, it's like hundreds of acres, and I don't think.
So that might be a situation where you're taking away something that they need in the late winter, early spring, that they need for survival. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not a biologist, I'm not a,
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, I think, I mean, the thing is though, when you do remove the invasives, then the native shrubs come back with berries and, you know,
Plants.
so good for wildlife, but also that property wasn't bought by the state. It was just bought.
I'm just saying what the state, as far as the state's position on state land. I'm not saying that that's state land. That's the state's position when they buy property.
Would there be a possibility of planting, like replanting native plants to take the place of the invasives.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I mean, it's something I know.
Well, you saw how fast that trail grew in just in the course of from when they developed it this year
Right.
to
But
just
so-
from,
but
not even
putting-
late spring yet.
Putting plants in, with the expectation that things will grow in, but giving the native plants a fighting chance by, clearing out the invasives.
I mean,
Lots of times if you remove the invasives, it gives space for the natives to grow back in.
as far as having the event goes, I don't have a problem with them having the event, it's just the timing.
Okay.
And as long as, we don't end up with permanent campsites there where people are gonna be in there in the fall,
Well,
like I said,
yeah, I don't think camping would be.
it's gonna change the whole habitat as far as normal animal activity.
Yeah, I
They're
mean,
gonna go someplace else.
yeah, I think this is gonna be a discussion we'll have to have more, because I think there is like a compromise that, having hunting during part of the year would be nice for people. Maybe not during hunting season, might not be good, but I feel like this is something that we need to keep talking about, though,
So you
because it is.
having camping some of the year?
Sometimes, yeah,
Okay,
because
sorry. I
people.
think you said
have been
having
asking for that.
hunting some of the year, so just
No,
to clarify.
sorry,
Yeah.
having camping
Yeah.
for, parts of the year, maybe not, during hunting season, but,
Right.
that's something that people have really been interested in. I
Right.
think we can find a good compromise for that
Right.
somehow.
And maybe, I don't know if there's another property that could have camping that would be less of a concern. Were you thinking, and
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, I'm not someone who is a regular camper, so I don't know what the constraints are for choosing campsites.
Yeah, the cabin at Meadowbrook Woods would be good, but I think that somewhere in this area might be a good spot also, so I just think we need to talk about it, because.
I think if we're limiting this conversation to the upcoming event, we can
Right.
talk about that without suggesting any sort of long-term plan, right? So I think if we're being asked to take a vote on something, it's limited to this one event, right? It's not to
Yes.
imply that this opens the door to, a year-round or multi-event thing. So I think we should deal with them case by case. Generally, against altering too much. I don't think invasive plants, I don't object to that, but in terms of who's doing the work, when they're doing it, and so forth, I think those are the issues that are more concerning. And again, not to project beyond that. I think at any time something would have happened, generally about having a campsite on town-owned land, I'm not in favor of. I don't know what we want to promote. The hiking, the more, the passive activities, yes. When people are bringing in other stuff, foodstuffs, starting fires, that's not as passive as, we'd like to see, I think, on any of the town lands. And, whether that be liability or other risks or altering the land. So, yeah, I think we do need to talk about it and just understand them maybe a little bit better about what the plan would be. So,
Right, and I think it could be event by event, at this point, but it sounds like everyone's in agreement that this isn't, a good event. But I think also what we need to talk about is, they're willing to do projects, and so, how many people, they're hoping for many people.
Yeah, so before I reply to all that, Peter's got his hand up, so I want to give him a chance to.
Thank you, I was gonna ask Peter. Peter, what?
Well, sorry I'm late and I missed the beginning. So I just have one question and then I'll make a comment after. How many people are you expecting for this event? Camping of how many?
200 to 300.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a big event. It's a big deal.
Right. And my comment is, if I guess I could support it, but I I don't like using a property when we haven't agreed on the management plan. And I agree with the other two members are reluctant to see it as a camping. It's already kind of the camel's nose. Yeah, we're combining ag and horse trails. And now maybe it's the best site, but we haven't given it enough time to get there. Well, thanks.
All right, so I wouldn't ask you to vote tonight. That was not my that was not my purpose. I did just wanted to introduce this. I owe that plan to the select board this summer. And so I'll be working that together. And as soon as I have that written plan done, I'll email that out to both boards and then get on those agendas and come back and talk and ask for your support on that very specific plan, as opposed to the general, I would like to use all this space for a few hundred people. I wanted to get the idea into your mind so that you can think about all the reasons why it would be a good or bad idea, and then we could get that onto the table and solve those problems. So that's why I'm here early. That's why we started 2 years in advance. Yes, you're owed that plan. That will come. You should expect that hopefully by August.
Okay, any other comments or?
No, I think more information is a good thing.
Great. All right. I thank you for your time tonight. I'm probably going to hang out and listen if you don't mind. But appreciate your time.
Great. Yeah, good luck with all the planning, and thank you for going around and talking with so many people and gathering the information before, pulling it together.
Yep. It's a small town, so you got to talk to everybody, right? So, but thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Good night.
All right. So, did you get a chance to look at the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
All right, any discussion? No? Okay, all those in favor?
We're gonna do a roll call vote.
Yeah.
Brugos, aye.
I roll aye.
Nero, aye.
Mazer, aye.
Coffin eye.
All right. Let's see. Oh, so, okay, discuss the town hall campus. Still working on some of the signage that we talked about last time, and I did have a person come and do some weeding, which is great. We also had a bill for the town hall campus website, which ends up being like $200, so that kind of ate into it, but that's moving along. But I was wondering, I don't know that we're gonna meet next month, and the new fiscal year is gonna be July 1st, and so I don't know if we need to take a vote or if I can have your general approval, but there's some things on the campus that still need to be done, and signage and things like that. Can I move forward with doing those things with the FY26 budget?
But with the 26 or 20?
Well, the 25 you said
Right.
go, and I am.
Yes.
And so it's more for the.
Oh, so once the new year starts,
Mhm.
so I see,
Yeah.
so you can start doing the work
Yeah.
potentially before we meet again. Okay,
Mhm.
I see.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
I don't have a problem with that either. Do you have an amount in mind?
I don't specifically, but,
I think it needs to be done.
yeah.
Look good.
Well, there's a lot of weeds that need to be, it's gonna take a while.
It doesn't look good.
Well, I mean, part of it is that, like, which area are you talking about?
The bare areas.
The bare areas,
Yeah.
like,
I
In
mean,
the
Over here,
house area?
over
Or-
here.
oh, Okay.
I mean, you're looking at stuff that they put down to hold the seed. There's no seed,
oh, so you're talking
nothing
about,
growing.
so you're talking about like the rain garden areas and then the bioretention area in the center? Well, that's the thing is that it needs to be weeded so that the plants can get growing and start thriving. I mean, it is a more casual landscape because it is gonna flood. And so, it has to be plants that can take that. And, so I just wanna stay on top of that and get it established. And around the edges, a lot of Japanese knotweed, which, yeah. But I mean, I think the landscape looks a lot better than it did. And I think, the trees, once they grow and the grass and everything, and, I think it looks good, but, I just wanted to get established, I mean, it's not gonna be, like, a formal planted area. I mean, one of the things is that, people wanted it to be low maintenance, and so, having the more native and, you know, gardens that you grow on their own is, you know, part of the goal, so.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah, anyways, so we'll keep working on that. Then I think last time we had talked about 11 Trask Road, which is a piece of a cart path that abuts the Trask property that we have, that the town owns, the 60 acres, and then, you know, the town owns part of Trask Road. But anyways, it's this little bit that David Lowell owned, and so Jane donated to the town, and the town actually does own it now. And so,
What does that do for us?
it adds to, like, if we ever want to do anything over there, it's more road. It also,
So it's like a railway?
yeah, it's like a car path, and it abuts the property, and it also protects it,
Okay.
you know, because Conservation Commission owns that, and so it's sort of just protects the area.
Any movement on that property?
Yeah, so Jeremy is having an appraisal done to find out what it's worth to the person that has the living estate on it. And then possibly the town can, you know, make a deal with them, offer him money so that the town can own it outright, and then he can have the money and, you know, be happy, because he doesn't even want to really, he's not living there. And so, so Jeremy is moving forward with something like that. Once I have more information, I'll, you know, let you know. But, because right now we really can't do anything with the property because we have, Jeffrey Gagner has the life estate on it. Yeah.
Is that something that we get into now, or is that,
Well,
that topic?
we're just waiting to hear like what the appraisal is, how much it's worth, so we don't even know like what money you were talking about, and I'm not sure exactly how it would be paid for, or, you know, I don't know, we just collecting information.
Okay.
Because right now it's just sort of in limbo, and, you know, and the building, or, you know, just falling apart, and, you know,
Yeah, there's nothing being done.
right. I'm sure Peter didn't have his hand up or anything. Then, did you have a chance to look at the town bylaw?
I did.
And it's pretty much everything that we talked about. I don't know if you,
The corrections look good to me.
yeah, we took out a big chunk of it because now we have CPA and we figured all that. And we,
Land bank stuff.
yeah, and then we didn't also want to require that funding had to be put in it because, you know, when projects come up, then we bring that top, you know, project to the town meeting. So, Peter, did you get a chance to look at it?
Not recently, no, sorry.
I mean, it's the same, that we talked about at the last meeting. Do you want me to put it up on the screen just so you can look at it, or I'd like to vote on it so we can hand it over to the bylaw committee?
I think it is useful to put it on the screen, just in terms of like the recorded meeting.
Okay.
Just to put it into the record.
Sure, yeah, we've done this, but I think that, can do it again.
Those are final edits, right?
Yes, so,
The last time we met, we were talking about making edits. Now the edits are made.
And so then this would be going to the general bylaw review committee?
yes, this would be the town committee, not the zoning bylaw. So, the red is what we added. We added to use sustainable environmentally sound practices, which sort of covers some of the other energy work that we do, the committee does. And then we also wanted to add that we have all these other plans that we did: master plan, housing production plan, community preservation plan, open space and recreation plan. Did we not add that? Oh yeah, we did, it was already in there. You know, so that, this, you know, is in sync with all of those plans. We removed the wording for the land bank because that was before we had the community preservation money.
Right.
And then we added the, about the 5-year land use plan, which shall include goals and specific land use needs. And then in terms of, evaluating the information. We said we added the community preservation committee because that wasn't in existence when it was originally written. Then. And so we got rid of all these paragraphs down there and added, if there are specific land purchases, warrant articles shall be submitted for a town meeting vote. If the warrant articles are approved, blah, 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 then the land use committee shall be empowered to act by majority as a town's agent to acquire land as outlined in the land use program. Which would probably, also work with the community preservation committee, because lots of times the land is bought, using that money. And then we took out a lot of the required funding because it's not being done and it's not needed. And that's about it.
Great.
Do you have any questions on that, Peter, or does that sound familiar? Or
No, we discussed it all. It looks good for final.
all right. Would someone like to make a motion to submit this to the town bylaw committee?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Brugos, aye.
Right, roll right.
You're right.
Nays are aye.
Coffin eye.
All right. Approved.
And that was a motion to forward those edits to,
Yes.
or to accept them, or to forward to
To
them?
forward it to the bylaw committee, and probably when they talk about it, then I'll end and I'll attend, and of course, anybody is, willing to go to those riveting meetings. We're on the zoning bylaw committee. Yeah. I think that's it. Unless somebody else has a topic that they want to talk about.
Anything going on with Peter's dentist?
Oh, yeah, it's just, things are definitely coming together, but it's so many signatures, so many documents. And trying to get it all in and get it to town council, and just reports are needed for certain of the grants, and so we're just working on all that.
So it's moving along.
It's moving along, yeah, it's just that our deadline is June 30th, which is approaching, but it's good. And it's, thank goodness, the Nature Conservancy and Mass Audubon and the state's giving money, but they're giving a lot of money, and so they just require a lot of documentation and reports and all that, so, yeah.
So I read the emails pertaining to, what do we call it, Bobcat Run?
The Inman Hill Trail. What's
Yeah,
on
do you
the
want to see
agenda?
that?
About the town having the mullet. So I'm wondering why we are taking and we're maintaining it and not the trail riders, considering the trail riders wanted to develop that trail.
Oh, like only it's joint project, the town, people are gonna use it, so, having the town, help out with it, maintaining it, I think, is legitimate. Oh, Peter has his hand up. Peter.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to go back to revisit the town hall, because I want to echo Barry's concern about it looking bare. And if there's money, why can't we overplant some of the grasses? Because we only have like another week or two, and it does look kind of empty. So did you want a motion to spend some of next year's money up to, I don't know, 1,000 or 2,000, or you're okay with it as is?
I think it's okay as long as I have the permission to move forward, and it's what's really hard is that I also said, let's put down seed this year and do it in the fall, on the grass. But we're transitioning, so now there's no one really to take care of this. Dan sort of did it, Highway sort of did it, but there wasn't like one person that would take it on completely. And that at the last town meeting, the town voted to have a grounds person, and that person doesn't start till July 7th, and so it's like trying to get someone to do it, but, I can see if we can hire someone to, lay down some more grassy, and also I think it needs to be done in the fall though, because that's when the grass grows the best, so.
It does, but whether we can plant some little ground cover, it gets, so I don't know if we can work with Isabella, because I think we have an opening in the next week or two. So I can help do some plantings and watering until the groundskeeper comes on, because it's going to be a long, dry summer and it's not going to grow too well. But yeah.
Yeah,
See what
if you
happens.
can help Peter, I mean, that would be fantastic. I mean, I've been here weeding with Tina, who was hired, and, so anything, if you want to help, that would be great. I mean, I think
Okay.
Alan Greenberg might be able to use some of that kind of work too. So, and I know Dan is trying to coordinate a senior abatement worker to do some of the watering, but if it's really dry, like when I came back in the fall, I watered all the trees because they're transplants and they really need care, and so Peter, if you're willing to help out with watering, that would be great.
Yes, at the beginning, every garden needs one or two gardeners. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So we've got a groundskeeper coming on.
Yeah, it's a person whose their full-time job is gonna be taking care of like the parks, the fields, all that stuff, yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully they'll be able to have some time to do things here.
Okay.
Like even, like the trees haven't really been mulched or anything like that, which would be nice just to help it look better and also just maintain their health, but that costs money too, so.
So going back
Jason.
to the trail and doing maintenance on the trail as far as why are we doing that?
Can you wait, can we come back to Trevor 1 second? Jason, did you have something on the town hall part or?
Yeah, I was thinking that if there is a list of items that you would think should get done when this new person comes on, and that if John doesn't know about what those list of things are, if you could get that together and get it to him as like, hey, I hear there's more people coming on. These are these things that we think might be in the purview of, grounds maintenance and grounds facilities work. It will help him to scope like what needs to be done and when ahead of time before we get this person on board. He might not know. So I that might be some helpful information to him.
I would love to, I definitely have information I give the person and, I'd like to meet with them, but I don't think I'll be here when they're on.
Or maybe, are you suggesting to give this to John Dudley, Jason?
I was thinking John Dudley would be
Yeah.
interested in scoping that work. I mean, just when we were up at Inman, nobody was aware of who was cutting that path there, and then it turned out it was Dan and Parks. That's just a small little thing, that could be coordinated. And if there are other things in adjacent town properties around the area that we can touch on that, and instead of having committee members, going in and doing that work, it would be good to know that work exists so that we can account for it and plan for it. That's it. I think sometimes this information doesn't make it to maybe the highway surveyor, and then he, gets a surprise when it's
Right, and just on that note, he will not be the highway surveyor. His John Dudley's job title will also be changing.
Oh,
So like, say it includes the highway surveyor, but he will be supervising the new grounds person. So like, there's just gonna be a little bit of restructuring with, and do you remember, Jason, the new title that
I would want to be accurate, and so I don't.
Yeah, so it's right, it is a slightly different title that is more encompassing, so not just highway, but also to some extent, grounds.
Okay. Yeah, no, I definitely, he is aware of this area, and the thing is this area didn't exist before because it was just crumbled asphalt, so there really wasn't much to do. And there are like certain like drains that need to be cleaned 4 times a year and that type of thing, and so I'll talk to John, and he does know about it, but I'll inform him a bit more. So thank you, Jason.
Yeah, good point.
Thank you. Sorry.
Barry.
Yeah, so, like I said, they wanted to put the trail in, they put the trail in. Now we're gonna start maintaining it. We're gonna pay our groundskeeper to maintain the trail.
Well, I think that it wouldn't really require that much mowing. It's not like I don't think it'll have to be done every week. It'll just have to be done, several times a year. And also as it gets
But
used.
we don't do that on any of the other trails.
No, this is a different one. I mean, the Bay State Trailers probably would be willing to come cut it once in a while also. But,
Right, if it's getting used regularly, it won't need as much.
yeah,
mowing.
Is it getting used
I
regularly?
think not, yet, right,
no,
because,
just because the people don't really know about it and,
Yeah,
it's not established.
And we're talking about horse riders using it, right?
Anybody,
maybe hikers too.
Yeah,
I don't know if hikers are enjoying a walk around the field. They like being in the woods.
but it's nice to have the combination
It
of.
is, I think to Barry's point
Yeah.
that, I don't know, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Is this grass growing within the trail that they're looking to
No,
mow?
it's
Is it
going through the field. Off the parking area, you know how they went down through the field,
Yeah.
brown field, and how they went the other side, the other brown field. The brown fields are going back in.
Well, it
I
does
call them brown
grow.
fields, they're not being
grows
painted, that's why I call them brown fields.
Oh, okay, all right. Because, the term brownfield means like a contaminated waste site.
Yeah.
But it really
To me,
is
they're
not.
brown.
Yeah.
They're not grass, they're
Green,
not
not
being
green
maintained,
hands, yeah.
they're not being maintained, they're going back to nature.
Hmm.
That's why there's trees growing in them and all kinds of, briars and everything else.
Yeah.
So, and on this map that you're projecting, where is the new trail?
It's the blue one on the top.
It's the blue one, the little
Yeah,
horse, is that a horse? I can't even make that.
Yeah, that's
Well, that's
a good
where-
question, yeah.
yeah, that's where a horse
Maybe
trailer
it's
is.
there.
There's
Where
a
they-
field,
Okay,
yeah, where the horse trailers can be parked, so that's what,
okay.
and
And so,
then piece of parking.
and so that, I see, and it says Bobcat Run, so this is the new
You
map.
can read that?
Oh, that must be a bobcat then. Is that a bobcat?
No, it's a
Picture?
horse. No,
Oh,
it's a horse for like,
Oh, for
if a
trailers.
horse comes, that's where they can park the trailer.
I see.
I've seen a bobcat out there.
I'm so jealous, huh? That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
So there's a new signage going up for the new trail?
But just like at the parking lot, the
Yeah.
map will go up, just so that people can see which direction to go, and,
Right.
it'll just look like that, and it'll just be like a pedestal on the side.
I think I mentioned this to you, I think it would be fun to announce it and maybe have like a community walk on the new trail for anyone who's interested, little, break it in. Because it's freshly mowed, right?
Well, it's mowed. I think also though, like, who was suggesting that, maybe Isabella was, like, the other trails are blazed, like the green trail has
Right.
green, and so this one also, Dan was mentioning it, that's right, that there should be some blue tags along it, just so that people
Right.
know where it is, or even the person that's mowing it would know where it is.
Right.
And, so they're not put up yet. But that's one of the things we need to get. And for the trails too, because the spray paint doesn't really last, so we're thinking of getting like tags that you can, put on a tree, like just with one nail. kind of thing.
And
Yes,
just, I'm picking up a little bit on Barry's concern with the growth of maintenance required on trails, and I kind of agree with them. And it's great that we're hiring a person to be caretaker. I don't really want that person to be responsible for maintaining trails. However, I do want the spirit of volunteers to maintain trails and know that sometimes staffing is needed to make that happen. So I don't know how we can carry on this conversation with a new staff and what appropriate care is needed for open space.
Well, I would say 99% of the work done on the trails is done by volunteers. This would be just mowing this one path so that you could see it. And the problem is, like, you can't really, Dan said that you really don't want to have volunteers mowing, you know?
No.
So, and so I would say, you know, all the work's really been done by volunteers. And, you know, Dan too, he helps, and now Isabella, but it's mostly.
We don't have a brush hog.
I think we might, I don't know, I don't really know, Dan knows.
I know the machine they do the parks, the ball fields with is machine, but you don't wanna be hitting rocks with that thing.
Yeah, knock people out if they,
What other trails in town would that person be responsible for?
no.
So
no,
this
they-
is the only trail that would require
Yeah.
regular maintenance?
Yeah, or it wouldn't even be regular maintenance, it might be like 3 times a year, they might have to mow it, you know, just to keep it open. All the other trails are, you know, so many groups help out. And also Jason now, he's interested in, I mean, we have volunteer land stewards, which are really helpful. He wants to like organize a group where if there's some project that needs to be done at a property, those people could be called, you know, and it's not like they're on a committee that they have to go to every month, but they might wanna help out some way or, you know, do, you know, physical kind of work. And so just sort of have a group of people, and him and another volunteer land steward, Kurt Labudi, like this idea, and so they might, you know, work on that. So there's a lot of people that help out, so I, you know, to me, mowing this once in a while, it doesn't seem to be a heavy load. And also it's a really pretty location, the person would probably enjoy it, you know.
That's it, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Right.
Second?
All right, all those in favor?
Brute goes aye.
I rule right.
Nero,
He's all right.
Coughing on.
All right, thank you.
Enjoy your summer.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, I'm thinking we probably won't meet next month, you know, unless something comes up, but, and Peter, you know, if you could do some watering, that would be helpful.
All right, I'll talk with Isabella.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Have a great night.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night. Good night. You know, Barry, the areas on campus where you're talking about that are really bare, like where are they kind of like,
What, the walkway?
by the walkway?
Yeah, you can see the rope, you know, the hemp.
Yeah.
That's down
Yeah,
over here,
okay,
you know, close to the pavement where it all died off and burned
Okay.
off because of heat.
so
yeah,
it's mostly grassy areas.
Yeah.
yeah, the problem is it's no irrigation.
Did you stop?
I did not. I'm gonna stop sharing. All right,
Yeah, they just gotta be filled in.
okay.
Looks like my, no irrigation. That's what happens.
I work on my grass.
Well, you know,